Tokyo, capital of the 21st century. Japan. We admire its 120 million citizens for their dynamism, their adaptability, their sense of community, their ability to greet the future while rooted in the past. The Japanese are not a people chosen by God, but a people protected by kami, Japan's supernatural protective spirits. A man's life takes meaning from its surroundings, from family, society, from the unseen world of the kami, from the achievement of that most difficult of arts, the art of being Japanese. "1942. Japan is at war. The land of the rising sun has reached the limits of its colonial expansion. Far and wide, its conquering armies have planted the banner of the Far East Asia co-prosperity sphere. Asia for the Asiatics seems to be the wave of the future, under Japanese dominion. The nightmare began in 1923, when a massive earthquake totally destroyed Tokyo and Yokohama. The government had made the error of proclaiming Shinto the state religion. Now it seemed that the sky of the kami had fallen down. Had the kami, the guardian spirits of Japan, abandoned the land, or were they giving stern warning? There seemed to be some supernatural meaning in the terrible destruction and its aftermath. In the waves of the aftermath, something was born that would supplant the memories of disaster. Under the umbrella of Shintoism, new winds blew. The rise of militarism. Departure of the troops for China. The coronation of Emperor Hirohito, the birth of the Showa age, the age of shining peace. The war in the Pacific. Hiroshima. Devastation and defeat. General Douglas MacArthur, the first conqueror to stand on Japanese soil. Destruction and destitution in the war's aftermath. Until the kami answered the ringing of the bells, under the peace settlement, Shintoism was no longer the state religion. Restored to its roots, it helped to turn Japan's goals from war to peace. The Japanese poured the enormous energies they'd spent on war into the economy instead. There was no better way to restore the country. On its 32nd day of life, a Japanese baby is presented to its tutelary god, the kami of its place of birth. The child is carried by a woman relative, never the mother, for she is impure. She has given birth amid blood. The ceremony is also a purification rite. Inscriptions in the temple are for sale, like almost everything else in a consumer society. The sign on the boy reads Dai, which means big. The girl's sign says Sho, little. Equality of the sexes is no concern of the kamis. At regularly prescribed intervals, the children will come back to visit their tutelary kami. At the age of 3, little boys and girls are no longer babies and must invoke the aid of the kami to help them on the way. At 5 and again at 7 years of age, they seek assistance as they enter the age of social interactivity. The protectiveness of the kami stands in contrast with the dangerous reality of life in the Japanese islands. To live in Japan is to live under constant threat from earthquakes. In the old days, they used to say that Japan lay on the back of a gigantic fish which turned huge somersaults. Nowadays, Japanese children learn about seismic waves. It is a basic lesson about the instability of things. The Golden Pavilion in Kyoto is a strikingly beautiful place. Here, in this sacred place, where a shogun went on retreat in the 16th century, students file past day after day. Until they are 17, Japanese students are molded in a rigid and demanding educational pattern. Wearing a uniform prepares them for conformity. From early childhood, Japanese children are pushed and shoved to conform, to repeat, to study, to do well on examinations, to get into a good kindergarten, then a good elementary school, high school, a good college. Their goal is to negotiate the obstacle course of exams and get into college. The greater the desire of attaining an objective, the less the likelihood of doing so, say the master archers. A lesson about pride. But the masters also say, concentrate your whole being on the arrow's release. A lesson in life. Here is a group of 20-year-olds celebrating in uniquely Japanese style their entry into adulthood. These happy warriors have no need and certainly no desire to fight any real military battles. It is only tradition that says that the rites of passage be marked with a martial arts display. A young woman of 20 has just one goal in life: to get married. Some Shinto temples sell strips of paper which a girl floats in the waters of a fountain. The watermark offers a glimpse of the man she will marry. How long it will take to meet with her intended depends on the time elapsed before the paper lands on a 10-yen coin. Attending college is one of the best and most efficient ways to make a good marriage. Under the auspices of Romeo and Juliet, the would-be husbands and wives just have to fill out the appropriate forms, and the computer does the rest. Shakespeare has nothing to do with it. Romeo and Juliet is the name of the dating service. The Japanese don't normally shake hands or kiss when they meet. This student is clearly overdoing things in the handshaking department. Neither of them really knows how to do it. This is the kind of opportunity that only presents itself on a large campus. It may be ridiculous to see this as some kind of great adventure, but for many Japanese, the college experience is the only opportunity in their whole lives to try something different. After the regimentation of high school and before the pressures of a job, Japanese college students get a breathing spell, a chance at the carefreeness of childhood they never really had. Do the Japanese really enjoy violence more than other people? This form of karate, where no holds are barred, is a particularly brutal kind of sport, in this case, intercollegiate sports. The real combat takes place in business, and this is the arena. Getting into college was difficult. Getting the degree was easy. The degree is usually the key to lifetime employment in one of these corporations which mold their employees. A Japanese joins a company like this the way a Westerner joins a religion, with faith, abnegation, and the acceptance of its hierarchy. In the Edo period, these men, and a few women, belong to the rank of shopkeepers. Today, they make up the class of salarymen, one word, the white-collar workers. They spend hours commuting to work in packed trains and subways. The magazines they're reading are mostly pornography, less aesthetic perhaps, but with the same goal as the ukiyo-e woodblock prints their grandfathers used to scan. Another example of how tradition and progress walk hand in hand in Japan. Even the computer can be enlisted in the search to recombine past and present. Throughout its history, Japan has borrowed from foreigners and wound up all the more Japanese. In living and in working, there is a Japanese style which runs the gamut from rigid control to wild abandon, from intense intelligence to utter folly. Beneath his conformist exterior, the Japanese salaryman does not lack for imagination. The marriage ceremony offers an excellent opportunity to come back and greet and thank the kami. Marvelous traditional robes, rented for the occasion, foster the illusion of a return to a great past. Three little cups of sake, the favorite drink of the kami, and the couple are wedded for life. This is how it's done in what can only be called a marriage mill. The Shinto ceremony over and done with, Hollywood fantasy takes over. Dress and scenery are quickly changed. Like actors on a set, the newlyweds light 36 candles at a wedding banquet. The price of all this is exorbitant, but they spare no cost to experience this short interlude of romanticism in Western style. She is a switchboard operator, he a clerk at a driving school. Their parents are footing the bill. Housing is a major problem. There is not enough physical space on the Japanese islands for the population of 120 million. Much of the land area is mountainous and uninhabitable, and most Japanese work in cities. They dream of a few square yards of their own, with a little wooden house with sliding panels. To sit on tatami mats, kimono-clad and eating sushi from a traditional low table is a dream of the past that the present rarely allows to come true for those who toil in the concrete jungles of Japan. Another example, the car. Having a car requires a parking place. It's a good idea to have the kami watch out for one's car. The kami is paid and returns a receipt, like any other insurance vendor, except that Westerners would say that this person has paid for thin air. And the Japanese do indeed pay homage to thin air, to the wind of their own tradition. The image of the kami provides an element of confidence that no insurance document could ever provide. And as he drives back, he is certain that he will steer clear of this automobile graveyard. Contrary to what we have been led to believe, the Japanese are not great nature lovers. They destroy nature without any pity. But they do celebrate certain natural events, certain short-lived events of great and passing beauty. The cherry trees in bloom induce a kind of trance in Japan. This is the middle of Tokyo, Ueno Park, at noon. It is a holiday for young and old, for rich and poor, when conformity is dropped and abandon reigns. The salarymen picnic beneath a dome of white petals. Sake and beer run freely. The collective unconscious bursts forth in ritual dance. Salt drives away the evil spirits. Invocation of the good spirits. The sport of the kami is sumo. As far back as history reaches, the kami seem always to have smiled on this confrontation between huge mounds of flesh, which stand in such sharp contrast with the audience made up, until recently at any rate, of smallish people. The mammoths take their bows in their cute little aprons, bearing the name of their financial sponsor. The referee wears a robe from a samurai court, with the headdress of a Shinto priest. He is judging a ritual, not just a sport. The yokozuna, the grand champion, performs the act of purification. Symbolically, he crushes his opponent's skull. All 330 pounds of him are sanctified by the shimenawa, the kami's rope, which hangs from his belt. He has the power to drive away evil spirits. That is the meaning of sumo, a ritualized, ritualistic, and intensely exciting sport. In the densely populated cities, there are private, privileged places, the lobbies of the grand hotels. Here, it seems, the Japanese have reduced to their very essence those elements of nature they love best, which in nature are almost gone. The mountain of white marble. At the top, ikebana, the floral arrangement. The forest of cryptomeria, towering pines surrounding the temples. The careful channeling of rainwater from roof to soil. The more nature has been domesticated, the less threatening and the more soothing it appears. Clouds will forever be cotton puffs in a painted sky. Beside a Shinto temple, a sheltered parking lot, a palace of sex. Venus come to Japan. Tradition is honored here. There was always a sector devoted to pleasure. Nowadays, the pleasures are sophisticated. The salaryman has chosen the music to accompany his declarations of love. The decor could be from a Parisian cabaret. This is his chosen, a straightforward young lady, graduate of a good university. The camera is not playing Peeping Tom. A video system in the room is the modern equivalent of the mirrored ceiling. The instrument panel, with its many dream options, might make them forget why they are here, were they not called back to reality by the computer. On the far side of the Kamogawa in Kyoto, lovers are alone in the universe, each pair at the prescribed distance from the others. This is when the salarymen pour from the offices and into the nearby bars and restaurants. Most of the men would consider it demeaning to go straight home. The Japanese, like their kami, have a taste for sake. The little sake bottles are heated in warm water. Sake, made from fermented rice, is usually drunk warm. The cocktail nibbles. Cheese made from soybeans, roots and seaweeds, grilled fish bones. The atmosphere is relaxed and happy. The constraints of the workday have given way to an easy camaraderie. It is an unwritten law that what would otherwise be unacceptable behavior is excused when a man has had his sake. The Japanese know how to laugh. The Japanese believe in meditation, but do they have a religion as we understand it? They claim not to. The kami simply exist. They are all around, like the air. Ancient Chinese morality regulates Japanese behavior. Buddhism provides consolation. Their wealthy and materialistic society gives rise to many different types of religious belief, but none denies that a powerful and generous man will become a kami. That's how it was with Okada Mokichi, who loved people, beauty, and light, and believed he had the gift of healing. The MOA sect, which took its name from his initials, was founded in 1935 and has millions of followers. It differs from some 250 other sects in its emphasis on the relaxing or therapeutic effects of the magnetism emanating from its practitioners. In a country where there is so little argument between antiquity and modernism, where the past, the present, and the future so easily walk hand in hand, it is not so surprising to find robots beside streetwalkers. This lovely mechanical bird is monitoring a computer system. But notice how it seems to be sending a message to the neighboring array of little hearts. Proof that in Japan, machines do indeed have hearts. A human life in its autumn and winter. The cycle is complete. Fortunate is the Japanese who, on his final voyage, bears the most noble of flowers, the emblem of his country, the chrysanthemum. There is no sign of the kami here. Death is a Buddhist matter. On the altar, a tablet with the name of the deceased. It will transport him into the other world. The time has come to cremate the corpse. A simple journey toward eternal peace. The remnants, ash and bone, Buddha in his infinite compassion grants the survivors. The ashes will remain for 49 years in the family home. According to Japanese custom, the closest relatives of the newly deceased are the first to put charred remnants into the urn. And so one circle is closed. The fleeting passions of one Japanese subsumed within the larger, grander passions of a nation, its past and its future.